I sat in the airport, staring at my phone. My hands were shaking. The message I sent was simple. My plane lands at 1 o'clock. Can someone pick me up? But what they didn't know was that I had just come back from surgery. Not just any surgery. The kind where doctors tell you that you might not wake up. Please like this story, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. My name is Rebecca. I'm 67 years old. 3 weeks ago, I kissed my 2 grandchildren goodbye and told everyone I was going on a little trip. I smiled. I hugged them tight. But I lied. I wasn't going on vacation. I was going to Cleveland for heart surgery. The dangerous kind. The kind where they open you up and put metal inside you to keep your heart from collapsing. The doctors said I had a 60% chance of living. That means if 10 people like me had the surgery, 4 of them would die. But I didn't tell anyone. Not my son Michael. Not his wife Sarah. Not my precious grandchildren. I didn't want them to worry. I thought I was being strong. Now, sitting in the Atlanta airport with people rushing past me, laughing and hugging their families, I realized something. I was alone. Completely alone. My phone buzzed. Finally. My family was answering. I opened the message from Sarah, my daughter-in-law. The woman I had helped for 15 years. The woman whose kids I watched 4 days every single week while she worked. We're too busy today. Just call an Uber. My heart sank. But then another message came. This one from Michael. My son. My only child. The boy I raised by myself after his father died. Mom, why don't you ever plan things ahead? You always do this. I felt something break inside me. Not my heart. The doctors had just fixed that. Something else. Something that had been holding me together for 67 years. For 3 weeks, I had been in a hospital bed in a strange city. Alone. I had signed papers that said I might die on the table. I woke up in pain so bad I couldn't breathe. I listened to the woman in the bed next to me cry every night. And now? Now I couldn't even get a ride home. I typed back. Okay. Smiling face with smiling eyes. That little smiley face, HID, everything I was really feeling. But in that moment, something changed in me. I was done being the person who gave everything and got nothing back. Let me tell you what I had given them. When Michael wanted to be a lawyer, I used money I had been saving for my own retirement. $80,000. That's enough to buy a small house. I gave it to him and Sarah for their big fancy house in the suburbs. When Sarah got her job at the big medicine company, who watched the kids? Me. 4 days a week. Sometimes 5. For free. When they needed someone to help them move. Me. When they needed money for their vacation. Me. When they needed anything. Always me. And now, when I needed them for one thing, just a ride from the airport, they were too busy. My hands stopped shaking. I felt calm suddenly. I knew what I had to do. I opened my phone and found another number. Dr. Marcus Wells. Dr. Marcus wasn't the surgeon who operated on me. He was the first doctor I saw, back home in Atlanta. He's famous. People wait 6 months just to see him for 10 minutes. He's been on TV. He's written books about hearts. But when I met him, he wasn't like that. He was kind. He looked at me like I was a person, not just a sick body. We talked about life, about my garden, about his son, who lived far away. He felt like a friend. Before I went to Cleveland, he gave me his personal number. Just in case you need anything, he said. I know this is scary. I knew he was in Switzerland visiting his son. But I typed anyway. Dr. Marcus. I just landed in Atlanta after my surgery. Having some trouble with transportation. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. Hope you're having fun with your family. I hit send. I didn't expect anything. He was probably at a fancy restaurant in the mountains, not thinking about some old lady's problems. My phone rang. Not a text. A call. Rebecca? His voice was deep and warm. Where are you right now? Terminal B? But stay there. Don't move. I'm at Terminal C. My mouth fell open. You're here? In Atlanta. Just flew in from Switzerland an hour ago. My driver is getting the car right now. We'll come get you. Do you have bags? Just this small one. But Dr. Marcus, I can't. Rebecca. His voice got firm, but still kind. You just had major surgery. You're not getting into some stranger's car. Text me exactly where you are. We'll be there in 15 minutes. He hung up before I could argue. I sat there, stunned. This man, this famous doctor who saves lives every single day, was coming to pick me up. Like I was someone important. I looked at myself in my little mirror. I looked terrible. 3 weeks in the hospital made me pale and skinny. I had lost 12 pounds. My gray hair looked flat and sad. My nice shirt hung off me like a tent. But I put on some lipstick anyway. I don't know why. Maybe because for the first time in 3 weeks, someone was treating me like I mattered. 15 minutes later, I saw it. A shiny black car, the expensive kind you see in movies, pulled up right in front of me. A tall man in a nice uniform got out. Mrs. Rebecca? I'm Samuel. Dr. Wells sent me to help you. Then he stepped out. Dr. Marcus Wells. Tall, with silver hair and bright blue eyes that seemed to see everything. He wore casual clothes, but they looked expensive. Everything about him said success. But his smile? That was warm. Real. Like he was genuinely happy to see me. Rebecca, he said, taking my hand gently in both of his. I've been worried about you. How did it go? And that's when I almost cried. After my own family was too busy, this man, this stranger really, was worried about me. It went okay, I said, blinking fast so I wouldn't cry. I'm still here, aren't I? His eyes got narrow, like he could see right through my fake smile. Yes, you are, he said softly. And I'm very glad about that. He turned to Samuel. Be very careful with her bag. She's still healing. Then Dr. Marcus did something that shocked me. He offered me his arm, like men did in old movies. Like I was someone special. I don't want to be trouble, I whispered. He leaned close. Close enough that only I could hear. Rebecca, you could never be trouble. Now, let's get you home. And you're going to tell me why your family wasn't here. Something in his voice made me feel safe. Protected. Like maybe, just maybe, someone was finally on MY's side. As I got into that fancy car, I wondered what Michael and Sarah would think if they could see me now. I had no idea that in just a few hours, they would be calling me over and over again. Not because they cared about my surgery, but because they found out who came to rescue me when they wouldn't. The car was like nothing I had ever been in before. The seats were soft leather. It was so quiet inside, even though we were driving through busy Atlanta traffic. It felt like floating on a cloud. Dr. Marcus sat next to me, but not too close. He was respectful. A gentleman. Samuel drove us smoothly through the roads, knowing exactly where to go. You didn't answer my question, Dr. Marcus said gently, about your family not being there. I looked down at my hands. How could I explain without sounding pathetic? Without sounding like a sad old woman who nobody wanted? They're busy people, I said quietly. Sarah has her big job at the medicine company. Michael has his law work. The kids have school and activities. Everyone's always rushing somewhere. Too busy to pick up their mother from the airport after surgery? His voice was calm, but I heard something else in it. Anger? No, not anger. Disappointment. In them, not me. They didn't know about the surgery, I admitted. I told them I was just visiting an old friend in Cleveland. The car got very quiet. Even Samuel glanced at me in the mirror. Rebecca. Dr. Marcus turned to face me. Are you telling me you had major cardiac surgery alone in another city and didn't tell your family? I nodded, feeling stupid. I didn't want to worry them. They have so much going on already. Sarah's trying for a promotion. Michael just got a big case. I thought I could just handle it myself. You could have died. His voice cracked a little. You understand that, don't you? The procedure you had, it's extremely dangerous. Some patients don't make it. I know, I whispered. The doctors told me 60% chance. I did the math. That's not great odds. And you faced that alone? He looked angry now. Not at me. For me. Where was your son? Your daughter-in-law? Your grandchildren? At home, living their lives like they should be.
No.
Dr. Marcus shook his head hard. That's not how family works. That's not how love works. I felt tears coming. I tried to blink them back, but one escaped down my cheek. Maybe I didn't raise him right. Maybe I was too soft. After his father died when Michael was 9, I tried to be both parents. I gave him everything. Tell me, Dr. Marcus said softly. Tell me what you gave them.
So I did.
Once I started talking, I couldn't stop. It all came pouring out. When Michael wanted to go to law school, it cost so much money. He needed $80,000 for the down payment on a house so he could look successful for his firm. I had been saving that money for years. It was supposed to be for my retirement, maybe a little place by the beach. But I gave it to him. All of it. Dr. Marcus's jaw got tight, but he didn't interrupt. Then Sarah got pregnant with their first baby. She wanted to keep working, she loves her job. So she asked if I could watch the baby. Just a couple days a week, she said. But a couple days became 4 days. Then sometimes 5. For 7 years with the first grandchild, then 6 more years when the second came along. Did they pay you? Dr. Marcus asked. I laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. Pay me?
No.
Sarah said family doesn't charge family. She said I was lucky to spend time with my grandchildren. And I do love them. They're beautiful kids. But you gave up your life, he finished. I had a job at the library.
I love that job.
Reading to children, helping people find books, organizing the summer programs. But I had to quit because Sarah needed me to babysit. She said daycare was too expensive and she didn't trust strangers with her babies. The car turned onto the highway. Samuel drove carefully, like he knew I was fragile. What about your friends? Dr. Marcus asked. Your hobbies? Your own life. Gone, I said simply. My book club met on Tuesdays, but that was one of my babysitting days. My friend Helen asked me to go on a trip to see the fall leaves last year, but Michael said they needed me that week because Sarah had a work conference. I haven't been on vacation in 12 years. 12 years. Dr. Marcus looked shocked. Rebecca, that's not normal. That's not okay. I kept thinking it would get better. That once the kids were older, I'd have more time.
But there's always something.
Always one more thing they need. Last month, they asked me to loan them money for a new car. $15,000. I said I didn't have it, which was true because I spent my savings on the surgery. Sarah didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. Dr. Marcus put his hand over mine. It was warm and strong. And today, when you asked for one simple thing, a ride from the airport, they said no. They said to call an Uber. I corrected, like that made it better. After you gave them everything. He squeezed my hand gently. Your money, your time, your life. And they couldn't give you 30 minutes. Hearing him say it out loud made it real. Made it clear how wrong it all was. I started crying. Not quiet tears anymore. Big, ugly sobs that I had been holding in for 3 weeks. For 3 years. Maybe for my whole life. I almost died. I cried. I was on that table and the doctors were yelling and there was so much blood. I heard them say we're losing her, and I thought this is it. This is how I die. Alone. And Michael will never know. He'll never know how scared I was. How much I wanted him there. Dr. Marcus did something that shocked me. He put his arm around my shoulders and let me cry into his expensive shirt. He didn't care that I was getting tears and probably makeup all over it. He just held me. You're not alone anymore, he said firmly. Do you hear me, Rebecca? You're not alone. Samuel handed back a box of tissues, without saying a word. I took them gratefully. Why are you being so kind to me? I asked, wiping my eyes. You barely know me. I'm just another patient. No, Dr. Marcus said. You are never just another patient. From the first time you came to my office, I saw something special in you. You were so worried about everyone else, making sure your appointment didn't run long because you knew I was busy, asking about my family, thanking the nurses by name. You're a good person, Rebecca. A truly good person. And good people deserve better than this. I don't know what to do, I admitted. I don't know how to change things without losing them completely.
They're all I have.
Are they, though? Dr. Marcus asked quietly. Or have you convinced yourself of that because you've given so much that you can't imagine walking away? I didn't have an answer. We drove in silence for a while. I watched the city pass by through the tinted windows. People living their lives. People who probably had families that loved them. Really loved them, not just used them. Where do you live? Dr. Marcus asked. Maple Ridge. It's about 20 minutes from here. The small houses, not the fancy subdivision where Michael lives. I know it, Samuel called from the front. Nice neighborhood. My sister used to live there. As we got closer to my house, I felt my stomach get tight with fear. They might be there, I said. Michael and Sarah. Sometimes they stop by unannounced to drop off the kids or ask for something. Do you want them to be there? Dr. Marcus asked. I thought about it. I don't know. Part of me wants to hide, but part
of me wants them to see this.
To see that someone thought I was worth picking up. Then we'll go to the front door, Dr. Marcus said with a small smile. And we'll make sure they see exactly who came to your rescue. The car pulled onto my street. My little house looked the same as always. Small and neat with the flower boxes I planted in the spring. But sitting in the driveway was a car I recognized. Michael's car. They're here, I whispered. Dr. Marcus looked at me with those intense blue eyes. Are you ready for this?
Was I?
I had just been abandoned by them. I had cried in a stranger's car about all the ways they had used me and taken from me. I was tired. I was healing from surgery. I was weak. But when I looked at Dr. Marcus, at this man who had dropped everything to help me, I felt something new. Strength. Yes, I said. I'm ready. Samuel parked right behind Michael's car. The front door of my house opened. Michael stepped out, looking annoyed. Behind him came Sarah, checking her phone. Then they looked up and saw the Bentley. Their faces were priceless. Michael's eyes got wide. Sarah stopped looking at her phone and stared. They watched as Samuel got out and opened my door like I was someone important. Then Dr. Marcus stepped out of the car.
Tall.
Confident. Expensive suit wrinkled from travel, but still looking like $1 million. Mom? Michael walked toward us, confused. What? Whose car is this? Dr. Marcus offered me his arm again. I took it, letting him help me stand. My legs were shaky, but not from weakness. From anger that I had been holding back for too long. Hello, Michael, I said calmly. Sarah. Sarah's mouth was hanging open. She was looking at Dr. Marcus like she was trying to figure out if he was famous or just rich. Maybe both. Rebecca, take your time, Dr. Marcus said softly. He kept his hand on my arm, steadying me. Samuel brought my small suitcase to the front door, nodded politely at Michael and Sarah, then returned to the car to wait. Mom, what's going on? Michael asked. Why are you in a? Is that a Bentley? Who I asked this? Before I could answer, Sarah's eyes suddenly got huge. Oh my God. You're Dr. Marcus Wells. The Dr. Marcus Wells. I've seen you on TV. You wrote that book about heart health that everyone at my company was reading. Dr. Marcus gave a small, polite smile. Guilty as charged. What are you doing with my mother-in-law? Sarah asked, but her voice was different now. Sweeter. Fake nice. The voice she used with her bosses. I gave Rebecca a ride from the airport, Dr. Marcus said simply. She needed help. Michael looked at me, finally starting to understand. From the airport? Mom, I thought you got an Uber like we suggested. Suggested? Dr. Marcus's voice got cold. Is that what we're calling it? I'm sorry, but who are you two? Michael started, puffing up like he does when someone challenges him. I'm the person who picked up your mother from the airport after her major cardiac surgery, Dr. Marcus said, his voice sharp now. Since apparently her own family was too busy. The color drained from Michael's face. Cardiac surgery? Mom, what is he talking about? Sarah grabbed Michael's arm. Surgery? What surgery? You said you were visiting your friend Linda in Cleveland. I took a deep breath. This was it. The moment where I stopped protecting them and started telling the truth. I lied, I said clearly. There is no Linda. 3 weeks ago, I went to Cleveland for emergency heart surgery. The doctors found that my heart chambers were collapsing. They had to put a titanium device inside me to keep me alive. I had a 60% chance of surviving the operation.
What?
Michael looked like someone had punched him. Mom, why didn't you tell us? Because you were busy, I said, and my voice was getting louder. Because Sarah had her big presentation at work. Because you had your important case. Because I am always thinking about what you need and never about what I need. That's not fair, Sarah said, her voice getting defensive. We would have been there if we knew. Would you? I asked. Really? Because when I texted today asking for a simple ride from the airport, after 3 weeks away, after major surgery that you knew nothing about, you said you were too busy. You told me to call an Uber. Michael opened his mouth, then closed it. He had no defense. And you? I turned to Michael, my voice shaking with emotion. You told me I never plan ahead. You made me feel like I was bothering you. Do you know what I was doing while you were annoyed at me? I was recovering from surgery, where I almost bled out on the operating table. I was alone in a hospital room listening to other patients cry in pain. I was terrified and lonely, and I wanted my son. But I didn't call because I didn't want to burden you. Tears were running down my face, but I didn't care anymore. For 18 years since your father died, I put you first. I gave you $80,000 for your house, money I saved for my retirement. I quit my job at the library that I loved to babysit your children 4 days a week for free. I canceled my trips, my hobbies, my life because you always needed just one more thing. And the one time I needed you, you couldn't even drive 20 minutes to pick me up. Mom, I didn't know, Michael started. You didn't ask, I shouted. You didn't ask how I was. You didn't ask why I was gone for 3 weeks. You didn't wonder if maybe something was wrong. You just assumed I was being inconvenient, as usual. Sarah stepped forward, and I could see her brain working. She was looking at Dr. Marcus, then at me, then back at Dr. Marcus. Dr. Wells, I'm sure this is all a big misunderstanding. Rebecca is very independent. She doesn't like to ask for help. Stop, Dr. Marcus said, holding up his hand. Don't do that. Don't make excuses or try to manipulate this situation. I've been a doctor for 30 years. I know the difference between someone who doesn't ask for help and someone whose family has taught them their needs don't matter. Sarah's fake smile disappeared. Your mother-in-law is one of the kindest, most selfless people I've ever met, Dr. Marcus continued. In our consultations before her surgery, she spent half the time asking about MY family, thanking MY staff, worrying about taking up too much of MY time. She gives and gives and gives. And what do? You take. Now wait just a minute. Michael stepped forward, using his lawyer voice. No, you wait, Dr. Marcus said firmly. Your mother almost died. She faced that alone because she didn't want to burden you. Do you understand how twisted that is? How sad. She's been home for less than an hour, and instead of caring for her, you're here demanding explanations like SHE did something wrong. Michael looked at me with tears in his eyes now. Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I would have been there. I would have. Would you? I asked quietly. Or would Sarah's work have been more important? Or your case? Or the kids' soccer game? There's always something more important than me, Michael. Always. That's not true. Michael protested. When was the last time you called me just to talk? I asked. Not to ask me to babysit or borrow money or help with something. When was the last time you asked how I was doing? How I was really doing? Michael opened his mouth, then closed it. He couldn't remember. I can't keep doing this, I said, my voice breaking. I can't keep being the person who gives everything and gets nothing. I almost died, Michael. I almost died. And all I wanted was my son to pick me up from the airport. That's all I wanted. I'll make it up to you, Michael said desperately. I promise, Mom. I'll be better. We'll be better. I've heard that before, I said sadly. Sarah was crying now too, but I noticed she kept glancing at Dr. Marcus. Even in this moment, she was thinking about connections. About what having Dr. Marcus Wells interested in her mother-in-law might mean for her. Dr. Wells, Sarah said, wiping her eyes. Thank you so much for helping Rebecca. Perhaps we could all have dinner sometime? I'd love to hear about your work. My company, Meridian Pharmaceuticals, is actually developing some cardiac medications. No, Dr. Marcus said flatly. Sarah blinked. I'm sorry? I said no. I'm not interested in networking with you, Mrs. Patterson. I'm not interested in your company or your connections. The only person I'm interested in is standing right here, and she needs rest, not your social climbing. Sarah's face turned bright red.
Dr. Marcus turned to me.
Rebecca, would you like me to stay? I can send Samuel for your things and make sure you're settled comfortably.
Part of me wanted to say yes.
Wanted him to stay and be the shield between me and my family. But I knew I had to do this myself. Thank you, I said softly. But I think I need to handle this alone. You've already done so much. As you wish, Dr. Marcus said. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a card. This is my personal number, not my office.
Me.
You call me if you need anything, day or night. Do you understand? I took the card, and when my fingers touched his, he squeezed my hand gently. I mean it, Rebecca, he said, his blue eyes intense. Anything. A ride, a meal, someone to talk to, or just someone to sit with you in silence.
You call me.
Why are you being so kind to me? I whispered. He smiled, and it was the warmest smile I'd ever seen. Because you deserve kindness. And because... He paused, looking almost shy for the first time. Because in a world full of people who take, you're someone who gives. And that's rare. That's precious. And I'd very much like to get to know you better if you'll allow it. My heart fluttered. Not from a surgery. From something else entirely. I'd like that too, I said softly. He lifted my hand and kissed it gently. Old-fashioned and gentlemanly, and absolutely perfect. I'll call you tomorrow to check on you, he said. Rest well, Rebecca. Then he turned to Michael and Sarah, and his expression went cold again. Take care of her. She's been taking care of you for long enough. It's your turn now. He walked back to the Bentley, and Samuel drove away, leaving the three of us standing in uncomfortable silence. Mom, Michael said finally. Come inside. Let's talk. Please. I looked at my son, at his wife, at the house I'd helped them buy, and I made a decision. We will talk, I said firmly. But things are going to change. No more taking me for granted. No more assuming I'll always be available. No more treating my time and my life like they don't matter. I'm done being invisible. You are never invisible, Michael said, crying now. Then start seeing me, I said. Really seeing me, not just when you need something. I walked past them into my house. My house. The one I paid for by myself. The one I kept clean and welcoming for a family that barely visited unless they needed something. But as I set down my suitcase and touched Dr. Marcus's card in my pocket, I realized something. Maybe being abandoned at the airport was the best thing that could have happened to me. Because it led me to someone who saw my worth. Someone who treated me like I mattered. And it showed me that I didn't have to accept scraps of love from people who should have been giving me everything. That night, my phone buzzed. A text from Dr. Marcus. Home safe? Remember anything you need. I meant it. You're not alone anymore. Marcus. I smiled, feeling something I hadn't felt in years.
Hope.
If this story touched your heart, please like and share it with someone who needs to remember their worth. Subscribe for more stories about finding strength, standing up for yourself, and discovering that sometimes the family we choose is just as important as the family we're born into. Drop a comment below. Have you ever felt taken for granted by family? What did you do about it? Your story might help someone else find their courage. Thank you for reading Rebecca's journey. Remember, you are valuable. You are worthy. And you deserve people in your life who show you that, not just say it.